guys, welcome back to my channel and to a brand new video. Today we're doing my updated bookshelf tour. So my last bookshelf tour was in 2022 or 2021 even? I can't remember, I think it was January of 2022. And they were in a different room, so it is quite a different setup now to that video, but I will link that video in case you are interested. But I have moved my bookshelves. They are the same bookshelves. They are the IKEA Gersby shelves, which used to be budget friendly, but they've risen so much now. I feel like the price difference, people may as well go for Billy's. Unless you have a problem with the Billy's like I do. I hate the holes in the Billy's. These don't have them. That's why I've gone for these, but they are a lot shorter and a lot, as you can see, I'm 5'8" and these are not much taller than me. I like that personally. But a warning, if you don't go for these. Go for the Billy's. That was just a random side note on the kind of bookshelves I have. I have 4 of them. You can pretty much see them all here. I'm gonna go through the bookshelves and show you each shelf. I'm not gonna show you every single book. I won't name every single book. I'll just pull out some specifics, tell you if there's any fancy editions like Fairy Loot, show you them, show you any signed editions, tell you any of my favourite books on my shelves, all those kind of things. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. I hope it gives you an insight into my shelves and how I organise. And I hope you find this interesting. Okay, so if we first take a look at the top of my bookshelves, you will see there's just a lot of random clutter. I'm not going to go up like showing anything on here. It's just what I call the stages of my life and the things I like. So obviously as a kid, I really like my Bratz dolls. I really like Nightmare Before Christmas. There's a Cruel Prince jigsaw, sci-fi Dune, Lord of the Rings selection, my old Harry Potter stuff where we just don't want to keep it in view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show them along and I'm going to go down row by row showing you all 4 bookshelves top to bottom instead of doing it bookcase by bookcase. I hope that's okay. Oh, Throne of Glass hardbacks. I absolutely love this shelf. These were kind of given to me by Jade because she didn't want them anymore. She was getting rid of her hardbacks and I definitely snatched them up. I do want to get the new covers as well, and I would really like to have the new covers go side by side in another cubby. But yeah, this is the OGs. Then we have a Grace and Honey candle. This is Rattle the Stars, so obviously had to be on my Throne of Glass shelf. Then we have this one that Connor kindly gifted me. This is by Bookshelf Burns, I want to say. I will have them linked down below to their Instagram page. They have the most beautiful candles, and I'll have another one to show you in a second from them. But yeah, I absolutely love this. I was going to put it in front of my copy of Godkiller when I finished reading it, but obviously that didn't go to plan. So yeah, now we have that in front of here, because I just feel like if you've read Throne of Glass, you'll see it like matches the vibe, like the forest, deer vibe. I don't know, it just kind of does. And then over in this corner, kind of blocked by my corner shelf, sorry. This is, I think it's a Fairy Loot tumbler. And this is From Now Until the Darkness Claims Us. I broke it. I used to use it as an actual tumbler. And then, yeah, I broke it. The inside snapped. So I just use it as a collection for my bookmarks. Some of them, anyway. I have the matching bookmarks to the Timeless Classic editions. Then we have a couple of metal ones with tassels that I think came from various, you know, Fairy Loot or Enuma Crate boxes. And then again, mostly just Fairy Loot editions and some random assortments of bookmarks. So yeah, that's the top left shelf. Now moving right over to the second bookshelf. So as you can clearly see, we are continuing with our Sarah J Maas theme. This one has no trinkets on it whatsoever. It's simply the hardbacks of ACOTAR with the Fairy Loot dust jackets, I want to say. Let's have a look if it says inside. It doesn't say, but I think it's Fairy Loot. They are the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So I like to keep them somewhat face out so you can see them. I think this one's my favourite. I just really love the 3 sisters on there. It's just so beautiful. And yeah, I just like to keep them on display. I would like to get some more trinkets to like go on the shelf, but I don't have any at the moment. So that's something I'm going to have to make a mission of. But yeah, they're just the regular hardbacks under Fairy Loot dust jackets. And I just love them. And I'm so glad I own them. And yeah. Beautiful. So one of my favourite shelves. But nothing much to say about it because there's nothing on it. I really hope that I'm filming this okay. It's kind of hard to see. So moving on, this is obviously my Kingdom of the Wicked shelf. First of all, we have another one of those candles from Bookshelf Burns or whatever I said the other one was from. Again, it'll be linked down below. I think this is just beautiful. And I had to put the skull on here because I'm not being funny. There seems to be a theme. Then for Christmas, my mum got me this like orb thing, this like mystical orb, and I just felt it really suited this. I don't know why. It just felt right. I think it's because like if you look at the maps in here, hang on. Yeah, see how they've got like orbs on the maps? I just kind of felt like it matched, you know? I just felt like it had to be done. So that's there. I don't know where it's from. I'm sorry, I have no idea. And then I think this was from Fairy Loot. It's just a little plastic statue of Wrath, and who I like to call Fluffy because of series that shall not be named. So on this shelf, I will show you through my editions. I have standard Kingdom of the Wicked edition, which obviously I tabbed quite heavily. So that's there. But then I also have the Fairy Loot editions of all of them, which I love, and I love to face Spine out because they're just the most beautiful editions on planet Earth. Although I am thinking one day that I need to put the reverse dust jackets out on display because, wow, they truly are beautiful. So yeah, if you're wondering what those beautiful sprayed edges are, they are the Fairy Loot editions, and I'm pretty sure they're really hard to get your hands on. I really struggled to get my hands on this first one, but luckily someone was selling their box the week that they came out, and I was like desperate for it. And since then I've been on Fairy Loot's list to get those. And then as soon as I got them, I left. But yeah, that if you're wondering what those are, 3 regular editions and 3 Fairy Loot editions. And yeah, I love this shelf. It is one of my favourite series, so it has a prized place on my shelves. I feel like it's starting to be pretty obvious that my favourite series are on the tops of these bookshelves. Here we have the Cruel Prince shelf. First of all, we have these character cards from Fay Crate. So I just keep them laying down. I don't like to display them upwards because I really like the focus to be on these beautiful bookends. And again, I don't remember where they're from. I think the bookends are from Illumicrate and their editions of Cruel Prince, but I have the Fairy Loot editions, which I'll show you in a minute. Then we have this sword. I don't know what fandom it's from, but it was from Fairy Loot, I believe. It's just a letter opener, but I felt like it just fitted the shelves vibe. So we have 3 regular hardback editions of the Cruel Prince trilogy, followed by a regular edition of How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories, and then, of course, the new Stolen Heir book. Then we have my pride and joys. We have the Cruel Prince trilogy. So first up, these are the Fairy Loot hardback editions. They have beautiful sprayed edges. They have a ribbon bookmark and red end pages, and I think they are signed. Yes, they have signed book plates in them as well. They are stunning, and I absolutely love them, and I'm just so glad that I have a completed collection now. So, yeah, I have to show you. I have to show you them all, because they're the most beautiful books on my shelf, and I think the last time I did a bookshelf tour, I only had the first 2. So, yeah, it's fun now that I get to show you the full collection. It's complete. And I have the bookends, which I was so excited to get. I literally squealed the day I got those. I've been trying for so long. So yeah, my Cruel Prince shelf is finally complete. It'll just be added to as this duology finishes. Now we have gone back to the first bookshelf, but down a level. So up here is Throne of Glass. We have an assortment of fantasy. I'm not entirely sure what's going on in this shelf, but you know, I'll talk you through it. First of all, I have 2 bookmarks. These are bookmarks I make personally. So you can see the link down below if you want to get any of the bookmarks on these bookshelves. So I have the Bonds That Tie series, even though I don't own the books yet, or maybe never will. I just really like them, so I have a bookmark. And then Legends and Lattes, because obviously my Legends and Lattes copies are here. I'll start from here first. We have the, what is this? The Fairy Loot Prison Healer series. They are all Fairy Loot editions. I think they are beautiful. I absolutely love them, but the cover of the first one is my favourite, hence why that one gets pointed outwards. But yeah, as you can see, they are all Fairy Loot editions. I really do love these. It's, again, one of my favourite YA trilogies, and that really doesn't happen much anymore, so I love having this. Then we have 2 copies of Legends and Lattes. This is my regular copy. And then here we have, it's just a regular edition, except for the sprayed edges. This is the indie bookstore edition. And there's nothing different about it other than the sprayed edges, because like these end pages are normal. But it's one of my favourite books. I absolutely love cozy fantasy like this. So yeah, I'm really glad I own such a beautiful sprayed edge edition. Yeah, then down here we have, this is the Illumicrate, I want to say, editions of Space Between Worlds by Mika Johnson. I didn't exactly love this book, like it's nothing special to me. It's just that Connor bought this for me as a gift and that made it special. It's just really cute. So yeah, I just keep that because it made me cry when Connor gave it to me. Then we have collector's editions of ACOTAR and Throne of Glass. So these are just hardback editions. They're just really beautiful, but I don't really display them. I don't know why. I just don't seem to have the space to display these over my dust jackets. So for now, they're kind of just plopped down here, but I would love to move them around somewhere to where I prefer them some point. But yeah, aren't they beautiful? I really like them. This one didn't come with a slipcase, and I don't really know why, because it's advertised with it, but hey-ho, it's fine. So yeah, that's that shelf. Moving on. Here we have the Crescent City shelf. I'm a very big fan of Crescent City. This is my, well, I was going to say my favourite series ever, but I didn't like the second book that much, so I guess it's just one of my favourite books ever, and then I don't like to think about this one. And there's obviously a lot of trinkets on here, so let's go through them. First of all, we have Grace and Honey room spray, and this says "Through Love All Is Possible" on it, so that stays on here, obviously. We have a lighted up bookmark. It is resin on one side and then very glittery on the other. It's beautiful. I think it's from Etsy. I don't know what book box this was. It feels like I'm a broken record saying I don't know if it was Fairy Loot or Illumicrate, but it is like one of those jars, I guess, and it's got Bryce on it. This is a custom Funko of Hunt Athalar. I don't know what the original Funko was to make it into this, but I'm pretty sure you can pick it up on Etsy. It's beautiful. I love Hunt with all my heart. So I love this. Then we have, I assume from Etsy, because Connor got this for me, it's like a sippy cup. You know, it's like a sippy tumbler. But it says Starborn's Coffee on it, which obviously Bryce Quinlan, and then has like her order, add whiskey. And I just think that's funny. Like, shots, of course. I think that's hilarious. I obviously don't use it because I'm too scared of breaking it, so I just leave it on this shelf as decoration. And then finally, again, Connor, he fills this shelf. I have Through Love All Is Possible on a canvas. I'm lucky to still have this because my hamster did try to eat it. And I did lose a couple of the letters, but I got them back, so we're okay. But yeah, it's a painted canvas, and then these are stuck on letters, and it's just very beautiful. And I love it. Then we have, for the actual books, first we have the US paperback of House of Earth and Blood. I definitely want to go and buy the new covers. I think they are the most beautiful things ever. Not quite as stunning as this, but like they are on par, to be honest. But yeah, I did get the US paperback because I hated the original UK paperback. So that's that. And I just love how floppy American paperbacks are. Like, that is so stunning. Wow. And then here we just have the regular original cardback with a little Through Love All Is Possible magnetic bookmark. I've written all over mine, so I never finished my annotating actually, but I do want to go back and annotate it at some point. And then finally we have House of Sky and Breath, which maybe I'll like it more on a reread, but I did not like it this time. This is the Waterstones exclusive, I believe, but I have no idea what makes it exclusive because the Waterstones exclusive of the first one had sprayed edges, and I don't think this has anything. Other than the fact, I must say, it is signed. It is signed, so there's me, I'm lying, but other than the signature, I'm not sure what's actually fresh, like, exclusive about it, but I do love that it's signed, so quite pleased with that. I think this is now my only signed Sarah J. Maas. I used to have more, but I don't own them anymore, so it's frustrating. Okay, I think that's how it looked. Who knows? We have some more fantasy. 2 different series. This is the From Blood and Ash series and the These Violent Delight series. We have 2 cauldrons. These are nothing special. These were Poundland candles that I scraped the candle out of and reused. This one has a cat that I put on tissue to kind of like elevate him so his head stuck out. I don't know. Oh, these cats I literally just bought in like a witch's shop in Western Supermare, I think. And then this is just full of like, I don't know, these little like gemstone thingies that I've had since I was a kid. I just put them in there. Then we have these. Now again, are these the Fairy Loot or are these the Illumicrate? Who knows? They both came out at the same time and I only bought one. Yes, Fairy Loot. Okay, so let's go through these because I absolutely love them. We have From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, Sprayed Edges, exclusive reversed dust jacket art, and naked hardback. They all do, but I won't show you them all, but they are the most beautiful editions I own. I don't know when they're releasing the next set, I really don't, but hopefully I'll be able to get them because I just love these so much. And I do really like this series. I'm not saying it's the best series of all time, but it's definitely a fun one that I really enjoyed. Then we have this section. So for someone who DNF'd these Violent Delights, I have a lot of copies of it, so I then went back and reread it because I was like, mate, why have I done this to myself? But I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it the second time. First up, we have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong Fairy Loot Edition. These have beautiful sprayed edges. It's signed or just digitally signed? Oh, signed but plated. And then it had this lush reverse dust jacket art that I loved. Hopefully you can see that. It's kind of impossible to tell. Yeah, beautiful dust jacket art. But then I decided that I really like this, yes, but I wanted the Owl Crate edition. So that's there, because I like the dust jacket art on this a lot. I'll show you. Here's the cover. So this is Owl Crate. The book is gold, which I love. But I just think this artwork is so beautiful. Look at it. Stunning. So yeah, I own 2 copies of These Violent Delights. I used to own 3. Then I owned 4. So we're doing better than I was. Then we have Fairy Loot Our Violent Ends. Again, sprayed edges. Very nice. And then very recently I acquired the Waterstones exclusive edition of Foul Lady Fortune. I have not read this, so it technically belongs on my TBR shelf. But I just really like the way they look together. I did actually get an ARC of this and I didn't read it, so I'll probably read my ARC anyway. So I think it just belongs on the final copy shelf. It's fine. And yeah, we've got another little cat over here. Just because I love cats, and this felt like the vibe for cats, you know? I don't know what the hell just happened with the quality, but I just noticed how much the quality had dipped on that last one, so I'm really sorry about that. I don't know what happened. This is the first of 5 TBR shelves. 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Yeah, 5 TBR shelves. So, yes, I have a problem. But this is my standalone, even though it might not be standalone, it just means that I only own the standalone. Like, I don't own any more of the series. So my standalone romance shelf. I don't have anything on here in particular to show you. They're all very regular editions, except for A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, which is the Asda's Tickled Pink edition, which has pink sprayed edges. Everything else is just a regular paperback. Over here, I know people hate Funko Pops, I know, but I love them, and I have a Mary Poppins Funko because I'm obsessed with Emily Blunt. I have my Kindle case and my Kindle. It's a Crescent City Kindle case. And then this is an Illumicrate ceramic pot. It is the Book of the Dead pot. This contains an extortionate amount of bookmarks. It is where I hold the majority of bookmarks. So these are all the bookmarks I've ever released, minus maybe 10 to 15. So I've released a lot of bookmarks. Mine aren't the best because I tend to keep damaged copies for myself because it would be expensive to make my own copies every time. So don't look at these. Like, these are mostly the ones with bad saturation, but it's fine. I want a copy to myself to remind myself of all the designs I've made. So here they are. And then I have in the front my TBR tracking wrap up. I don't know where my TBR one is. I do have a TBR one as well, but this is just my reading wrap up one. And I fill in the books that I've read with a star rating. I do sell these on bookmarks as well. So yeah, I keep all of them in here because they're the bookmarks I use most frequently because, I don't know, I'm proud of them. I like them. So that is the first TBR shelf. We'll be coming back to some more shortly. This is getting harder to film with every shelf because I'm now currently on my knees on the floor. But this is my, what would you call it? Horror shelf, horror thriller shelf. But I do also have the Every Heart a Doorway series by Shauna Maguire, which is fantasy. But they give me horror vibes a lot of the time, so I do put them on this shelf because that's where I have the space and where I think it does actually fit the vibe. There's not much to note on here. I have another cat. I have 2 arcs of my C.G. Tudor books because I recently got rid of all my C.G. Tudors in an unhaul, but I kept my 2 arcs. I have my stunning copy of Your Darling Death by Lauren Carter. I would love to display this outwards. I just need to get something to like hold it together, just because like the cover, when it's a paperback you display outwards, the cover moves. Lauren is my love, my life, and of course I have her book on here. Then we have Wilder Girls. This is the Barnes & Noble edition. I do also have the paperback, but I have this hardback too. I really liked Wilder Girls. It's one of the first books I read when I joined you, BookTube. So I do need to reread it and see how I feel now, but I like it. I think it's good and I really like this cover. Then we have my most recent obsession, which is Darcy Coates. These are the ones I've read. So I've only read 3. I finished that one last night. Terrifying. And then In My Jews I Hold an Eye. So these are like my large horror paperbacks. And then I have Horror Store by Grady Hendrix because I just think it's the coolest thing ever. Like, I want to put that as like a display book on my coffee table. And people be like, oh, that's interesting. And then they see what it is and they're like, okay. But I love it anyway. So yeah, that's my horror-ish thriller shelf. Now we're here on my mythology/women shelf. So it started off as mythology and then it just became like a shrine to women because I love women. So starting off, we do have this. I believe it's from Get Fairy Loot. It is, I don't know, some Greek god and goddess thing. I just put it there because it matches the vibe. And then I have another Funko. This is of Liv from iZombie. It was my first ever Funko and I loved iZombie at the time. Then I have 2 of the out of print hardbacks of The Wolf Den and The House of the Golden Door. Actually, I don't think this one's out of print yet, but the first one is. And they're both signed and they make me very happy because I found that one in Waterstones when it was out of print. So I felt very proud of myself. Then I have Ariadne and Electra. I do have Atalanta, but it is over on my TBR shelf, so you'll see that shortly, but it will soon be added to the other babies. I think this one's a special edition. No, this one is. I think it was supposed to be black, but the Waterstones edition is white, and I just think it's very beautiful, so yeah. I do want to get the regular edition as well, but I need to also chill because I don't have that much space. Then I have this beautiful chunk. It's a Canterbury classic of classic works from women writers. Connor bought this for me because he knows I love women. It has gilded edges. I haven't read anything from this, but I didn't put it on my TBR shelf because it's not the kind of thing you read in one sitting. It's the kind of thing, you know, you want to read a short story, you pick it up. So that's why it's over here. Then I have what I want to say is the Waterstones edition of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo in hardback. It's just very pretty in hardback. So yeah, stunning. I do like Evelyn Hugo and I do have a paperback as well. Circe is one of the first books I bought. I found it in a charity shop for £2 and I died inside because this is stunning. Absolutely stunning and one of my favourite books. Another one that I found in a charity shop for £2 was The City of Girls hardback, and I don't think they realised, that it was signed. And then Conrad bought me the paperback, so I took the note from the paperback and put it in the hardback. I think the rest of them are just regular copies. I have the Mad Women's Ball, She and Her Cat, Galatea. But this one is stunning. I think this is just a regular copy. It's just the hardback's really beautiful. And I do love this book, so I definitely recommend it. Here we have another TBR shelf, and this is classics. So what's to note on here? I think these are just the regular Penguin classic editions. I don't know what they're called. Then we have this, which is a Chilton classic. Very stunning. I wouldn't recommend these for reading though, because they're like the plastic coated pages. I wouldn't read this edition, but it's okay because I have another copy of Emma, so. These are I always get questions on these when I show them. The Timeless Classics. If you go online and type in Timeless Classic subscription, it takes you to a really dodgy looking website. Or you can just buy them every week in WH Smith. They are a really dodgy looking website. But yeah, it's just classics. It is a subscription. And they're very beautiful. Then we have this. I don't know what the edition is, but it is the Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, and it is illustrated. It is gorgeous. I actually DNF'd this book before I bought this, so I really shouldn't have bought it. But read it again I will, because I needed this edition, and I have no regrets. I don't know, these are like the, I don't know, illustrated edition of the Jane Austen books, and yeah. There's a few different editions in there, lots of different classics that I need to read. A lot of the Bronte sisters, a lot of Jane Austen. And then this is just a candle. I got sent it by an author. So I don't know where it's from. Probably just a random shop, I don't know. It smells gorgeous though. But yeah, I've sent it in a PR package, so I don't know where it's from. There's my classics TBR shelf. A little overwhelming because that takes a long time to read. So you remember I said that I had like romance standalones? These are romance series or like multiple authors. So like obviously Colleen Hoover is standalones, but I have like 6 of them right there, so they get put together. Tessa Bailey, same thing. I mean, these are a series and those 2 are a series. So yeah, anybody on here I have more than one author of in or with around the romance genre. Like I know that like that's like a thriller romance, and when it comes to Colleen Hoover, can you call any of them romances? Probably not. I have some Lucy Score, some Taylor Jenkins Reid, Sarah Dessy, Colleen Hoover, and Tessa Bailey. So I'm planning on reading these for a 24-hour readathon, and same with some of these. They're just on the shelf, and I think they look really pretty. I don't know. And then I just have a rose quartz stone and a God knows what stone. I don't know where they came from. I don't know how I have them, but as a kid I was obsessed with rocks. So I assume that's why. And then this is a fake plant. I have 2 of them. One's called Ben and one called Jerry. This one's Jerry. Ben is over by my TV. Could I have been any less original? I don't know. Okay, so at this point the tripod is as low as it can go, so I'm having to like hold the phone down. So bear with me. This is my mostly Zodiac Academy, but in general, Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti books. We have 2 candles. I again will try and remember to link their Instagram below. I do follow them, but I can't remember their names of who made them. But I have a Tori Vega and a Darius one because I love those 2. They're my favourites. So very sorry that it keeps moving. Then I have another bookmark that I made from Bookmarks. Again, Etsy's down below. It is a Zodiac Academy bookmark. And then over here, Robbie got this for me for my birthday last year, and I keep it on the shelf because I was never going to get rid of that. And then here are my editions. So most of them are some of them are the old editions. For example, this is the matte prequel. They don't print this anymore. And then it's kind of like a mixture of the editions. And then I have the non-discreet edition of the Dark Fae series. I have not read this yet. I've not read these 3 and I'm in the middle of this one, so I'm making progress. Again, I can only apologise about the terrible angle. I'm so sorry, we're getting quite low. This is my romance shelf. These are the red books that I've read. I mean, that's the whole point of a red shelf. Oh dear, I'm losing it. Obviously some of these I'm not sure you can consider romance, like it ends with us and stuff, but I just did my best. These are my self-published ones. So a little bit of smutty central over here. We have my Pride and Joy Magnolia Parks books. One of my favourites on here that I should point out to you. Definitely Magnolia Parks. I absolutely love this series. This book is beautiful. It's massive. It's floppy. Beautiful. 3 Swedish Mountain Men, one of my favourites. Oh, if you did not like Credence, which by the way is one of my favourite books, this is the same book but without all the weirdness in it. So like obviously a lot of people don't like the essay scene in here, and also the fact that it is technically family. It's not reverse harem. This one is reverse harem, but it is no, I hate all these marks. They came on the book and they're like sticky and I can't get them off. Gross. Any tips? Appreciated. But this one is reverse harem. No relation. They just are friends, but it's a very similar vibe to Credence. So yeah, if you wanted the vibes of Credence but not the gross weirdness, 3 Swedish Mountain Men is the way to go. Lily Gold is a great writer. Okay, so next we have another TBR shelf. There's no rhyme or reason to this shelf. It's kind of just an everything else TBR shelf. We have a Jim and Pam Funko. I've moved them so that you can see what's behind it. We of course have a Darcy Coates because I'm obsessed. We have Kids Monestra, which I'm really excited about. It has exclusive edges. This is the Waterstones edition if you are interested. Yeah, I don't think there's anything specific to show you on here. These are just some of the books that I have bought and want to read. Ones that I'm super excited for include The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, Lonely Castle in a Mirror, The Luminaries, of course, From Below. Yeah, I don't know, it's just a TBR shelf, nothing special to note. In regards to signed editions, I think other than Clytemnestra, I have Necropolis, which is signed and dedicated. I don't know if anyone's actually interested in this, but this one's signed. Yeah, this one's signed. Yeah, I don't know if that's of no interest to anyone, but just in case, there you go. They're my signed editions. We are back to yet another TBR shelf, but this one is my monthly TBR. It is also the last TBR, so every month I make my TBR videos and the books go onto this shelf in particular so that I can differentiate them from my other books that are on my TBR. So yeah, these are all the ones I should be reading within the next month, and some carryovers from last month, but you know, don't tell anyone. My favourites on here are Atalanta by Jennifer Saint. I'm really excited to read this one. We have another one of those timeless classics. I want to read Wuthering Heights this month. Obviously, The Long Way Home. I'm very, very excited to continue this series. And then we have a Tina from Bob's Burgers at Little Funko. Not really much to say on this one. Hopefully I'll be getting to all these books this month. It's not going to happen, but you know, I can certainly be hopeful, can't I? Now that we're on the bottom, I'm going to have to do a handheld situation. So this is going to be chaotic. Please do bear with me. So this shelf is the classics I've read shelf, which actually makes me laugh when you think of the fact that I had a classics TBR shelf that was not even 5 times fuller than this, more than. And especially as this is 3 copies of the same book. I do worry myself sometimes. So here we have a cat mug with names of books in it that was meant to be my TBR jar and I've never used. I keep saying I will and then I don't. Then we have the 80th anniversary edition of Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. It is beautiful. It's made to look like the night dress. If you've read it, you might know what I mean. And I think it's stunning. This is the Folio Society edition. So it comes with a slipcase. And then this is the actual book. This is my pride and joy. This was gifted to me by Liam a couple of years ago now. Let's have a look if I can find any of the images. So it is illustrated and oh my god, it's just so beautiful. I absolutely love this edition. Wow. It is beautiful, really, really beautiful. And I'm so glad to own it. And look at that spine. Beautiful. Then I have a little paperback section with a paperback Rebecca. This is a really beautiful edition. It's the first one I ever read. And definitely a beautiful one. I really like it. And then we have my other Daphne du Maurier books, which consist of My Cousin Rachel, The House on the Strand, my most recent 5-star, and then Frenchman's Creek, which I didn't love, but I still want to keep all my Daphne du Mauriers. And then this really cute little book, it's Anne Hudson, Apprentice Hairdresser by Trisha Baldwin. This, I don't know how I got this. I think it was my grandmother's copy as a child, and then when she gave it to me when I was a child, I was obsessed with reading it. Every time I went to stay at her house, I would read it, which was quite often. Published in 1963, so it's around the same era as Daphne du Maurier. And it's a really, really good story. I absolutely love it. It has all the vibes. I don't think you can buy this anymore. I don't think it's published anywhere. Obviously, this is a very old, manky copy, but it's my beautiful copy, you know. I've had this for as long as I've been alive, quarter of a century, and it's been around for a lot longer. So yeah, I love this copy so much. And if you ever see it in a charity shop by some chance, I would 100% recommend it. So yeah, that is my red classic shelf, which again is embarrassing when you consider how big my TBR classic shelf is. Moving along, we have my graphic novel collection. So we have my Heartstoppers, which I absolutely love, and obviously the Heartstopper yearbook. And the colouring book. I don't know if people know about this, but it's a colouring book featuring Nick and Charlie. I've done a couple, but I'm not a big colourer. I wish I was. I feel like it's very relaxing, but it doesn't quite do for me what I want it to do. Then we have my little copy of Sheets and Delicates, this little chip mug. More things. And then down here I have some comics. Okay, so first up we have a Stranger Things one. I must have just thought the cover was cool. I don't read the comics. And then I absolutely love Buffy, so I have this Willow one because again the cover's just stunning. And then my Pride and Joy. Christmas Vacation is one of my favourite movies ever to exist, but I've always hated that we don't get to see Christmas Day. So as a gift a long time ago, I mean maybe 2 years ago now, Liam gave me... Oh, this is from Connor. This is not involved. Connor got me this, and it crinkled. So I put it in here to straighten out. He wrote the script for Christmas Day for me. So I get to see what happens post the movie in his interpretation, and he got it like printed into a book for me. It's very cool, and I do absolutely love this so much. I think it's awesome. And one of the coolest things I own. Okay, so moving on, we have red paperbacks that are not romance. So we have a very random selection here. First of all, down in this corner, we have Rapunzel and Pascal Funko Pop. And then behind that, we have the TBR Fairy Loot game with the roll the dice. I did do a video once picking my TBR from that. I think it was last summer. The rest of these are just books. So let me point out some of my favourites. Half a Soul, a very recent 5-star that I adored. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and calls Tales from the Cafe, 5 stars. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, of course. I keep this one, even though it's not, like, I didn't feel that, like, I have no feelings attached to it. But I read it on one of the Galleathons, and then my review got put into it. So I have this copy down here too, because I think that's pretty cool. Now that I've swapped that round, it's stressing me out, so I'm gonna have to go back and change it in a minute. But yeah, so just a very random shelf. And then finally moving on to the last shelf, and this is my mystery shelf. So first up we have the 5 Truly Devious books, and then this is just a 9 Liars magnifying glass. I was sent 9 Liars by the publisher, so they just sent that along with it. I don't know how you can get one of those, I'm not sure. Then I have the Diviners series. These 2 are the American paperbacks because I wanted them to match the UK ones. The only difference is obviously the size, but I'm okay with it. It wins best. Better than nothing, is it not? Then my Good Girls Guide to Murder series, which I absolutely love. And then this was one of the first books I was ever sent to review. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. This was before my tabbing. I don't know, how I learned to tab, I guess. But I have a lot of emotional connection to this because it's one of the ones I gave to my granddad to read before he passed. So I think it was the last book he read. So I like to keep that down there as special. But that's the last shelf. So those are my bookshelves. So I hope you enjoyed this tour, and I hope you learned something new about my shelves. If you have any questions on anything, I'm happy to answer them down below. Hopefully I'll be doing one of these updated every year. So we'll see. Unless nothing changes, and then maybe I'll do it the year after. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed this one nonetheless, and I shall see you in the next video.